Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Hey, what's up, Dark Mage? Today's gonna be a huge rave. I'm here to to be a potential witness to heresy. Facts. There's gonna be lots of heresy going on today. So last time we were doing blue airbrushing, and off stream I started the freehand. This turned out really good, actually. The enormous Chaos Star. The only thing is, I had to stop because I have to finish the shoulder pads before I continue, because the pattern goes across both the top carapace and the shoulder pads. But I think it looks pretty good right now, and this is gonna end up being like a pink / magenta color. So not done yet, but I think it looks really good, and I'm pretty happy with how it's turning out. So today I'm gonna continue working on. I'm gonna be doing some airbrushing at the start to get these to get the black side done. And then we'll see where I go from there, actually. I would like to keep working on the freehand, but it'll depend on how dry the airbrushing stuff is. I decided I was going to have a huge painting day today. Got literally nothing. So pretty productive day for me so far. Nice! That's big to hear. We love a good productive painting day. You can just sit down and knock out models. That's huge, actually. Let me get some more. Set up everything except for paper towels, actually. You decided you were gonna crank out the Emperor's Children model so you can start your Chaos Votann? Is that what happened? Okay. No? Uh-oh. Decided to clear the factions you had left so you can start Emperor's Children? Alright, I see. I don't have a structured order to my hobbying like that. I kind of just do whatever I feel like doing at the moment. I have quite a bit of Dark Angels, Chaos Knights, and Eldar to paint, so they'll get done. They'll get done when they get done. Sylvaneth, Skaven, sheesh. Yo, as a fellow Sylvaneth collector, I need to see some of these models that he painted up. Alright, let's see, what was I doing? I need to mask some things so that I can do my airbrushing. I like that as well. Probably why I get nothing done. Yeah, I'm not too mad about it, because like I've said before, I don't play the game a whole lot, so I'm not like pressed to get things done. I just kind of have a bunch of models from the factions that I enjoy, and they'll get painted when they get painted, you know. But I do kind of want to get Chaos Knights done because I'm kind of getting the itch to play. So Sylvaneth models are under lock and key. They're not pretty to look at. Oof. Yeah, let me see. You've probably seen some of my Sylvaneth models on like my Instagram and stuff. But yeah, I've got like my Kurnoth Hunters, my Revenants, my Spite Rider Lancers. I love these models because they're like both the 100% tree people and the tree people with spirits inside. Quality. I fucking love those. They're great. Hats off to the design team for making those. That scheme is nice. Why don't mine look like that? Trust me. This is like version 4 or 5 of my Sylvaneth scheme, because I've been collecting Sylvaneth for years, and basically what I do is I paint up Sylvaneth models, and then I become a better painter, and then I sell the old ones because I don't like how they look anymore, and I buy new ones, and then I paint the same models again. So that's like the Kurnoth Hunter. That's like the 4th version of Kurnoth Hunters that I've painted. And I do really like these ones. I glazed some purple into the bark so that it would better contrast like the bright green. I did the light green glowing runes as like a pop color. I had a lot of fun with those guys, and they turned out really nice. But yeah, that's like that's version 4.0 of Kurnoth Hunters. No, wrong side. We want to keep the blue and paint everything else. Nope, we're good. Ugh. Get a bunch of masking putty off. So also funny story, yesterday I like organized my things so that I would paint the correct side. Well, I didn't. So I also had to fix this last night because I I painted the wrong side. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Should be alright though. Soon enough, I'll be putting it on the model anyway. They're a huge pain to build. They're a pain to transport too, because they have those like, they have so many little spindly bits that break off if you look at them too hard. So yeah, they're a pain to transport. That's the main reason why I moved to like a box with a steel plate bottom and magnets for transportation. Because like trying to fit them in like a foam carrying case, it just doesn't work. The pieces snap off too easily. Yeah, they're a pain to build, pain to transport, but they're fun. I love them. Actually, when I took a break from painting Sylvaneth for a sec to focus on like 40K models and such, I was in the process of painting a L'Oreal. Here's my, mostly I was just painting the beetle. But, I mean, beetle looking pretty nice. Maybe I'll, maybe someday I'll return to this. I'm trying to think of what I currently have going on. I think I'm going to be painting Kill Team models next for a little bit. Just want to shout out OCR Bone Reapers. Those are also cool models. I debated collecting those for a little bit, but then I decided I was gonna collect Eldar instead. But yeah, the Bone Reapers are great. A lot of cool models. They recently just got a new spearhead that's very elite. The Alarielle model has to be my favorite AOS centerpiece. It's a good one for sure. Archaon is also really cool. The multi-headed dragon. What kill teams are on the horizon? Well, I have another Necron model to paint. Because the way with the Necron kill team, you have like a base kill team, but then there's like 3 different leaders that you can buy that like change the way the kill team plays. So I have one of the leaders, and I just bought the model for the second, so I have to build up and paint that. I have to paint some terrain, although I don't know if I'm gonna do that on stream, because that's, to me, that's not as exciting.
And then I just got the
the Blooded Kill Team, which is the Chaos Guardsmen. And I got that because actually they go with, like, I can use those models in my Chaos Knights are like 40k army. So it's like I'm like double dipping. But those are the ones I'm currently on the docket for Kill Team. I thought about getting Blood and Zeal for the statue terrain. I am on the fence. I'm like, do I want to get Blood and Zeal? Yeah. Is it worth it if I just kind of want the terrain pieces? Like, no. Not really. The models are interesting and all, but I don't think they're not really my kind of thing. So we'll see. I'll take a look at it in a few weeks. They don't seem to be selling out too fast, so I think I'm safe to sit on it. Like, I don't think there's any pressure for me to like rush buying it. Building Arco flags? Oh no. May the Emperor guide your hand. Alright, let's see here. Let's get some painting going, huh? Masked off the pieces that I'm going to be working on today. My shop sold out. Apparently everyone in my area was waiting for this box. Sheesh! Yeah, I saw the box at I went to my local game store and they had 3 or 4 boxes of it. So I guess no one in my area wanted it. That's crazy though. I mean it's cool. So I understand why it sold out. You know what? I don't even really think I need to mask this stuff, actually. I'll just be careful. Will I be getting the Space Wolves box? No, I don't think so. I'm not a big Space Wolves person. Again, they're cool models, just not really my thing. And it's nice to see them getting stuff because they've had their models were starting to look really old. So that's cool. I am thinking about the new Cathay models though that they revealed. Yeah, not really an old worlds kind of person, but those Cathay models look, I mean, they look really good. So maybe it's time. Alright, so we got our solid black base coats. Now we're looking at Dark Reaper, Thunderhawk Blue, Fenrisian Gray, and Ulthuan Gray. I like that Cathay has pulled a lot of engagement for Old World. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think, like my main problem with Old Worlds is that the models were so old, right? Like I get that was the whole point of the Old World models, is that they're just like the original Warhammer models, but they're so dated. And so when Old World was released and they were like, yeah, we're just gonna be selling the same models that we had 30 years ago, I was like, yeah, no thanks, I'm good. But now that they're putting out, like, it's a new faction with new models that look good. Now it's like, okay, like, now we're cooking, right? Like, I you know, like, I wish you had done this from the start, but like, now we're cooking, right? Like, we were talking about the Total War factions yesterday, right? And we're talking about, like, I was like, oh, Vampire Coast would be really cool, but like, the Tomb Kings are really cool, and I was like, oh, if they're gonna put out new models for the Tomb Kings, like I'd buy those. But then they released the new box set. It had one new model in it, and you got like 200 of the really old, kind of gross looking skeletons. And I was like, no. Like, just no. But yeah, if they keep putting out, like... Then GW went, why is nobody interested in Old World? Yeah. Yeah. They're like, we'll just sell the same models that we did before, but at a higher price. Why is nobody interested in Old World? Like, sorry. The models are just worse. Like they went ahead and created some of the most beautiful models that Games Workshop has ever produced in Age of Sigmar. They were like, the design team went hard when they did the AOS lineup. And then they said, what if we went backwards and sold our worst minis? Like, well, what if you sold better minis, though? So if they kind of continue on this path of, like, you know, new minis for Old World, like, I'm down. If I could ask for one thing from Old World, it would be square bases. To be standardized, like, across all the games? You prefer the square bases over the circle ones? I prefer square bases. They feel less vulnerable to a stiff breeze. Fair enough. I kind of like the circular bases from, like, a I think they look cleaner. Like, shape-wise, I feel like I like circles better than squares. Game-wise, I know they moved away from squares because it's harder to, like, measure from the square. You get like, you get different, because it's not a uniform shape, you get different measurements from different parts of the base that caused issues. But yeah, I didn't use a whole lot of the square bases, so I like the square bases with the movement trays. I think that's really fun. Where you're just like pushing around your blocks of infantry in their square bases with the movement trays. I like that. That was a fun mechanic in Old World where you're like you're pushing your blocks of infantry and like wheeling them around. Like that was fun. Yeah, they have drawbacks. It's the square bases nostalgia. I have talking. Yeah. I get it. And it made Old World like a distinctly different game from 40K because of the mechanics that came along with having the square bases, which was cool. A lot of the stuff that they did in Age of Sigmar made it like feel a lot more similar to 40K, which, you know, isn't a bad thing. It makes it easier for people to like pick up Age of Sigmar if they've played 40K and vice versa. It makes it easier to learn the two games, but it does make it so that the games feel a lot more similar. But, I mean, 40K will always be different because of how much shooting is in it. Like, that alone makes the game feel very different. Oh, nuts. In terms of games, though, AOS is definitely more entertaining at the minute. 40k is awesome. Yeah. Because your opponent is rolling out. Yeah. I like that. I like that in Age of Sigmar, like, your opponent has to come take your objective from you, right? Like, they can't just, like, shoot you off an objective. Like they have to come take it from you. Which I think makes it fun. Thunderhawk Blue is another one of those paints that really gets my airbrush all gunked up. Yeah, like, look at this stuff. Focus on it. But this is just in the nozzle of my airbrush from using Thunderhawk Blue paint. Like, bro. It's just chunks of paint. Alright, but we are back in business.
Wesley is the GOAT! The GOAT!
Hey, what's up? Nash, how's it going? Thank you for the resubscription. 7 months is huge. How are things going for you? New sub alert? Yeah. I worked on that. I worked on a new sub alert, and I worked on like a new follower alert too. I had a lot of fun with it. It was more of a pain than I thought it would be to get like sound effects. Did it happen? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, getting the sound effects for the goat clip and like lining it up and stuff was a bit more work than I thought it would be. But it wasn't too bad. I think I have to do one for like raids and stuff now too. But it was a lot of fun. So Knights? Yeah. So I got a Knight Rampager here that I'm painting up. Little bit of a custom pose here. He's running. Right now I'm trying to airbrush, but my airbrush is not cooperating. Additionally, I am doing an enormous Chaos Star on the back. It's the same one that they have on the box art for the Knight Rampager, but it looks really cool. So it as soon as I finish these shoulder pads, I can finish the freehand, because it goes across the back carapace and onto the shoulder pads, which is really cool. Alright, we're back in business. I am using metallics. I'm trying to get better at non-metallic metal and all that, but I'm not trying to do all that on the entire night. I did though do a lot of work with glazing colors into the metallic, so it looks like old worn iron. That I think looks really cool. So I am upping my metallics game a little bit, but definitely not trying to do non-metallic metal on this boy. There's too much metal, too much. Give me like a sword, I can do that. Like I just did Azrael, right? So like the sword, non-metallic metal on the sword, I can do that, right? Looks pretty cool. Gives you a nice fun effect on the power sword, right? Like, nice. A whole night though? Nah. I'm not doing that. I would like to finish the night sometime this year. Thank you very much. Come on. No. Maybe someday. Talk to me again next year, and we'll see. If you're betraying the Emperor, you better be going all out. I mean, yeah, I guess. I am trying to do a lot more freehand on these knight armor, on this knight armor though, because so that and me upping my metallics game is currently what I'm working on. Got these nice gradients here. Alright, and the last step for the black is some Black Templar contrast paint through the airbrush. I'm gonna dilute it a little bit too. Mostly we're just taking this transparent paint and doing very, very thin layers to make it so that these armor panels look more black, for one, and two, kind of smoothing out some of these transitions even more. And see, as always with our airbrush, we get those nice smooth layers. Additionally, it'll look more black when I paint the trim. Because right now the trim has a lot of the bright highlight color. But that trim will be gold, so. And the reason we're using Black Templar is because it's actually just like a very, very dark blue. And so it helps maintain that bluish. Oh, I forgot to do the mask. Oh well. I guess I'll do that later. Eh, maybe I'll just leave it like that. The thing with this side of the mask is it's got this giant scar in it. And so I'm gonna be doing like an object source lighting effect where the eye will be glowing. So there'll be like a glow coming out of the face mask and the crack in the face mask. So I actually don't know how much me painting the mask itself will do, because I think a lot of it will get overwritten by the glow effect. Oh yeah, Dark Mage. I don't know if you're still here, but I did go to the hobby store yesterday, and I went all out on Monument Hobbies metallics. I basically bought them all. So yeah, dark silver, silver, white gold, rich gold, copper, I think I even bought metallic medium that you can use to make other colors metallic. So I kind of went a little crazy. But I think they're awesome paints, so here. Trying to rethink my life building Arco flags. Oh no. Yeah, fair enough. Peel away the masking, and we got the nice gradients here. Ooh. Our black and blue armor panels looking nice. No, the masking tape is supposed to come off, right? All right. And the other shin guard pops off. They are supposed to come off the corks fairly easily, so that I'm not struggling with it when I'm done painting. But apparently I made the shin guards pop off a little bit too easily. Not quite done painting them, which is fine, actually. I could probably put them on now. Yeah, you know what? Why not? We're done airbrushing them. Let's go ahead and put them on. Usually I have a little metal sculpting tool here. It's a lot better at, oh, here it is. It's a lot better at scraping off paint than the X-Acto knife. Make sure we get nice clean contacts. This is the really fun part of sub-assembly where you get to see your piece start to come together. Alright, while I'm waiting for things to dry, I think it's back to painting Chaos Trim. Classic. Classic, classic, classic. Like, this is one of my favorite emotes right here. Classic. One done. Hey, let's go. Nice. It's called progress, baby. $20 more to go. Oh no. $20 more to go. Oh no. All right. One shin guard trimmed. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and try out this gold here from Pro Krill. That's nice, actually. Ooh, drum roll. Yeah, but I mean, look at that color. That's a nice gold right there. Between, let's see here. Let's get out. So the gold I usually use is Retributor armor, which is this one. So this one is a little bit. Retributor armor is a little bit darker, but it's a very close. It's very close, which I like because I like the color that Retributor armor is, even if I feel like the paint isn't as good, because like. You don't get that kind of coverage with Retributor armor. Right? That is Retributor armor. That is the Monument Hobbies. Hello, Deja Vu. How's it going? In pain, need my fixation. Ran out of minis to paint. Oh no. Someone get this man some minis. Necrons and Space Marines, I'm gonna need to get both. Alright, we'll do some Amazon Prime same day delivery. But yeah, how's it going? Glad to see that you're still having fun painting, even if you ran out. I'm over here painting a Chaos Knight Rampager here. Got a little bit of sub-assembly going on because he's a big boy. Can't have fun because you don't have anything to paint. Yeah. Yeah, this is what the boy looks like so far. He's a little naked at the moment, but we're getting there. We're slowly working our way through all the armor plates, so that we can make sure this guy's not naked anymore. Painting without the ting? Oh no. Bro's in Spain without the S. That looks super cool and fun to paint. It is. The knights are very different. It's a very different process from painting other minis. Because of like how much sub-assembly that I do, I use the airbrush a lot because I'm painting these large flat armor panels. I spend a lot of my time doing this, painting trim. But that's okay. It's a lot of metallics because bro's a big robot, so I'm painting a lot of metallics. Kind of want to get an airbrush, not gonna lie. I will say, it's worth it. I know a lot of people don't like it, and I get it. Like, it's kind of expensive. If you live in a small apartment, it's not great for your like respiratory system. I live in a small apartment though, and I just have like I have a lot of fans. Like I open a window. When I'm not on stream, I have this mask here that I use. So like there's ways to get around the stuff. Because of the paint thinner? It's not at least from my understanding, it's not inherently toxic because if you use all acrylics. So like acrylic, so like, I have like acrylic airbrush medium, I use all acrylic paints, which is not inherently toxic, but you definitely don't want to be breathing it in. And I'm pretty sure the air coming out of the airbrush is not great for you to breathe. But if you were using something like oil paints, that would be very toxic, and you definitely want to have like a mask or something if you're airbrushing something like oil paints. That's like super toxic. What puts me off airbrushes is that it speeds up the hobby more, which can be a double-edged sword as I enjoy taking my time. But yeah, that's, I mean, fair enough. I like it because it can take away some of the more like menial tasks of the hobby. Like a lot of times, like putting on base coats can be kind of a chore. It's not as fun for me. Like there's a lot of fun parts about painting, and things like applying solid base coats is not one of them for me. So when I can take an airbrush and apply base coats like really quickly and get like really nice smooth application of paint, that's nice, because it allows me to get to the more fun parts of the hobby faster. Additionally, getting these like really nice smooth gradients is pretty easy with the airbrush, whereas doing it by hand is hard. So when I'm painting things like vehicles and stuff, the airbrush can be really nice to build up those gradients quickly and get a nice result. So those are some of the reasons I like the airbrush. Gets you to painting trim faster? For real. See this? This is what I love doing more than anything else in the world. And whatever gets me to painting more trim faster, that's what I'll do. Whatever it takes. Man, I really want to paint right now. I'm sorry, Deja Vu. I'm sorry. Well, I'm getting an airbrush now. Trim is what I live for. See, I need to start getting sponsorships, bro. I'm out here repping Monument Hobbies. I'm out here repping airbrushes. They should pay me for this. I did this to myself. Oh no. I'll do a quick. The Sotar 2020 from Badger Airbrushes. Badger hashtag not a sponsor, but at Badger, we need to talk. All right, there we go. In all honesty, though, using the Pro Acryl metallic did make this process a lot nicer. Just being able to get the coverage faster makes painting trim a lot better. Like with Retributor armor, I'm doing like 2 to 3 coats to get solid coverage. Whereas this is 1 to 2 coats, right? So I have to go around the model less times, which is really nice. So when you use the airbrush, you compress the air, right? Yes. Yes, I have an electric compressor. It's a little one. If I use the airbrush again, you'll hear it because it does have to recompress. But I have one that's pretty quiet. Although actually at Adepticon, at a booth, they had a 100% silent airbrush compressor, which was really cool. Makes a shit ton of noise. This one's not too bad. Here, let me kind of force it to compress air real quick, so that you can hear it. So there it goes. You can kind of decide for yourself, like, is that too loud? I don't think it's too loud. It does get annoying because it's like, and you're like, God, please stop. But yeah. For me it is, yeah. But yeah, I've seen worse, yeah. But yeah, at Adepticon there was a silent airbrush compressor, which was very impressive. The only way, there was just the hum of like, when you turn on electricity, right? And you can like hear the hum of power. That was the only noise that came from the airbrush compressor. There was none of that like brrr sound, which was really cool. I do forget what company that was though, which is sad. But you can, like, This one is like, I would say this one's quiet, but there's definitely a lot quieter ones. We have air guns at my workplace. I hear that sound in my sleep now. Oh no. Bro's got trauma from the airbrush compressors. Or from the air gun compressors. Alright, let's get this bad boy on the model. Maybe. Scrape away the super glue that I used to hold it. When I was in Japan, I heard the sound of the red lights. Oh yeah. Being in a room with compressors and milling machines and 3D printers, practically live with the machine hum. You are one with the machine spirit. Oh, white noise already. Oh, in the train stations? Yeah, I live pretty close to some train tracks, so I get train noises. But they're not too bad. Can I send a link in chat? Is that allowed? I would prefer. You joined the Discord, right? I'd prefer you post it in the Discord. If you could, if that's not too much trouble. You're 80% deaf and you're right. That's crazy, actually. Fair, that's why I asked. Yeah, no problems. Alright, let's see if I can continue my freehand work. The rest of the Emperor's Children are going on pre-order next week? Nice! Let's go! That's actually massive. Not for my wallet, yeah. It'd be like that though. Like the Primarchs. Yeah, I'm not sure what all is happening, what all is coming in the next, in this pre-order. Probably Fulgrim though, right? Because they haven't released Fulgrim yet. That sounds cool, not gonna lie. So we got, what, Marines, Necrons, Emperor's Children? Fulgrim, Lucius, Flawless Blades, and the Combat Patrol. Nice. That's a huge release. Boxes for Noise Marines, Tormentors, and Infractors. Shut up and take my money. Making my own great pile of shame. For real. We're gonna take this off a little bit. Oops. Sticky Tack doing a great job. 10 out of 10. Oops. Maybe a little bit too good of a job. I think to continue this freehand work, I think I'm gonna have to stick it to the model a little bit. The nice thing about the top is it kind of clicks in, which is like really nice because it tells you it's like in the right spots and it like holds itself there. Shoulder pads, not as much. I'm gonna remove the arms here actually too. Oh no! We've been invaded by heretics. Alright, we're good. Crisis averted. Little do they know I'm not cheap, I'm free. For real. All right, we're doing a little bit of freehand work here. We're just doing a little bit of creating reference points. Based on like a reference image here. So that we can so that we can try and create these lines as cleanly as possible. The Cacophonist and Lord Exultant. Nice. That's really cool. Alright, I did... This part is a lot harder than... the part on the carapace. So I'm probably gonna have to redo this shoulder pad a little bit. Which, like, that's why we do this first. So that when we make mistakes, we can come in and fix them. And it's not too terrible to fix. Nice. Let's go. You'll love to see it. Sadly, I am also getting towards the end of my stream here. I wish I didn't mess up the freehand. But it is what it is. And like I said, that's why we do it right now. Because the fix when I mess up the freehand right now is approximately 5 to 10 minutes of airbrushing. If I did it after I did all the trim and such, the fix would take so much longer. But as it stands, our gradient is back, and we can try again. I don't think I'm gonna, like I said though, I'm getting towards the end of my stream, so thank you all for hanging out. Let's turn that off. Alright. I'm gonna get going for the night. Hope you have a good your night / stream. See you next stream for sure. Thanks for hanging out, Dark Mage. I'll be streaming again next week. And as far as I know, next week should be a full week of streaming. So Thursday through Sunday. I hope to see you all then. Until next time.